Ohio guys, welcome to Clockwork and Noodles for another breakdown of the Apothecary Diaries episode number 21. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are doing well. We are coming to the end of the season and this show is of course still pulling and still being amazing right at the end. This week's episode basically just made me go, oh, everything in the OP is basically what's happening, and it's very subtle. If you know what to look for, you read that OP and were like, oh, I know what we're going through. A lot of the stuff in the OP that I've mentioned very briefly with Larkin is coming up, especially the bit at the end when he says Blue Rose. If you go back to my original OP breakdown, I think it's in episode 1 or 2, because I don't remember when they played it. I did mention roses, and I'll go back through what I initially said about Blue Roses right at the end, just to refresh you on what I actually said, because I think it might be very important. It's a possibility that when I broke that OP down, a lot of the people who read the manhwa or the actual light novel were like, oh, you're actually on the money, but you don't realize you're on the money. Let's see what I now think with a bit more information at hand at the end of the episode. Before we get going, I need to give you guys a warning. My birthday is coming up, and of course, what better way to spend my birthday than actually missing anime, which is really sucky for me, but I'm actually going to be out the country. The Apothecary Diaries next episode actually drops on my birthday. Happy birthday to me, but I won't be doing the breakdown on time. I'm actually going to be, I arrive in the UK at like crack of dawn on 13th. I will be doing all of my breakdowns on the 13th. Of course, Solo Leveling will have its release on the Monday, whilst you guys will have your release rolled to the Tuesday. So hopefully you can forgive me for making it a few days late, but it's the best I can do when I'm out the country. Happy birthday to me anyway, because I do get my favourite anime released on my birthday, and that's just an amazing wish. But that is the big announcement, just so you guys know what's happening for next week. Let's break it right down. I initially was starting to think that this episode was going to be one of those fillery type episodes where we've had a big thing happen, we need to slow down a little bit, but this anime has also taught me that nothing is really meaning nothing. Everything has a purpose. It does feel like we've never left, and Mau Mau going straight back to the quack and helping him out was just really, really nice. And it was so funny to see that she had all the power to boss him around, which I think is quite a nice little relationship scene. He respects her enough to actually do as she says, and it's a good relationship regardless. It does seem that he has had it quite rough. Talking about the paper, how he ended up actually becoming a eunuch and actually in the palace in the first place. Thought it was interesting that the Empress Dowager actually banned the cutting of the trees. I don't know why, whether there was a shortage or not. Would be interesting to know a bit more about those previous choices. That would have been the previous emperor's rule outside of the palace. What's going on? Is there a shortage on wood? What's actually happening? So I do find that kind of stuff fascinating regardless. I do like the moment where she tries to gently nudge him to the answer. She starts to actually try helping him, and she is so nice. She actually is very smart in very many ways. She starts to work out exactly what might be wrong with the paper, and I did like the fact that it just literally broke off in her hand, which I thought was funny. Just like holding it and it's like frayed. It's just a very nice way of nudging somebody to the answer and teaching. She is a very good teacher. We've seen her teach a few times when she teaches the concubines about lovey-dovey stuff. She's a very good teacher. Perhaps she's got hidden talent for leadership. At some point we might see that happen, maybe. Don't know what Mau Mau dreams of being. Maybe she just really just wants to be an apothecary and that's it, just like her dad. The bit where Lee Hakyu is asking, why are you asking how much I get paid? Bruh. You literally asked, how much do I need to buy a courtesan? She's going to need to have a rough idea of how much you're earning to see if it's anywhere close. And when she said 10k, I was like, yeah, of course it's going to be something like that, because she did say that it's like a lot of salary. It's like a full salary or something. And with Lee Hakyu only earning 1,000, 10% of what that total is, and he'd had to work for 10 years to maybe come close. Thankfully, at the end, we do see there's actually not a time constraint. Just insane how much money you'd need to buy out a courtesan. Now, I do think Lee Hakyu is that lovable type. He is like a sculpted Adonis anyway. He is really cute, and I love the bit where he's like, I'm doing this myself, I'm going to do it the way that I know. And he is a really cool character, and I do like him. I think he's quite sweet. I really hope that he does get what he wants. I love how eager he is. He just strips without asking questions. The doorman that day got just one hell of a show from what they could hear. Absolutely hilarious. And I just guess that Parin loves her cake and her men to be beefy. Amazing. And he's so funny. And I love the relationship between Mau Mau and him, just because it's so comic than Ginshi, man. Ginshi is literally the master of timing. He is that parent who walks in on the kid whilst the kid is watching a nice, friendly anime, if you get my drift. It's when you're watching an anime and suddenly it gets to those scenes where you're like, oh god, now is when someone's gonna walk in and they're gonna judge the hell out of me. He is that person, and Ginshi he's also the master of faces, and I've always said that he is absolutely hilarious because you can tell when he's being sarcastic, and even if he's smiling, you know if he's faking that smile and he's actually trying to kill you behind that smile as well. I mean, at least Mau is brutally honest. She literally just says that I'm just looking at a naked man. You know, is there a problem here? Is there a problem me looking at a naked man, Ginshi? But Jinshi's heart rate this week, I can imagine, was through the roof, and the guy probably nearly had a heart attack until he heard the words, of course, my sister, and then I think he was able to breathe easy. But definitely the most jealous man I know, and he's probably going to turn around and tell me that I know other men. Most likely. I'm afraid, dude, I do know other men. He is just great. I absolutely love the reactions this weekend. Obviously, just what I have been mentioning recently is about the mask. And I think last week we mentioned there's that mask there. Jinshi wears this beautiful, unique face when he's meant to look younger. He's supposed to look all feminine. And you can see the mask does slip because he's literally boiling over with jealousy when he goes to approach Lee Haku and start talking to Lee Haku. And as soon as Lee Haku does actually mention the cat, which is obviously Mau Mau, there's that moment where Jinshi starts to go Super Saiyan with jealousy. It's that mask. It's the idea that he can look as happy as he wants, but it's not going to be able to contain how he's really feeling. And Lee Haku's starting to feel threatened. It's like, yeah, the mask is there. It's slipping, I'm afraid. And we can kind of tell that you're really, really jealous. But I think a lot of it is because Mau Mau isn't that open with Jinshi. The relationship between those two is more like a employer-employee. We can joke around, but we're not on the level of friends. Whilst, I guess, looking at your friend naked is something that you do on a very different scale of things. And, of course, being able to talk openly and actually give advice is something that Mau Mau doesn't really do to him. I guess they don't really talk on that kind of scale of things. He's more jealous because she's kind of opening up to him, and if anything, she also really gets on with Gaoshin, I think his name is. I like the relationship between those two. Those two is great. He's just a really good character. He's a very good fatherly character to both Jinshi and Mau Mau, and I like him. He's like a gentleman. I didn't actually think he was going to take the offer. I knew deep down in my heart of hearts that he's a man of love, and he's a man of honesty and pride, and he has got his pride and reputation to think about. If there's somebody he wants, he's not going to want to have help. He's going to want to do it off his own back so he can say, look, I love you. I have done this off my own back for you, and it's a bit more romantic, I think. I just knew he wouldn't actually take the offer, but Jinshi offering double the amount. Literally, guy is literally loaded to the back teeth with cash. And we already found out that 10k is 10 years of Lee Haku working at that kind of level. It's just insane. Jinshi, you're just money bags. You've got so much money, you don't even know what to do with it. What would have happened if Lee Haku had said yes? Is he just literally going to give him money without having anything in return? What's in it for Jinshi? And I know he's taking a shine because obviously Mau Mau likes you, therefore I might try and help you and maybe I'll get into her good books. But 20k is a lot, and even if he is a noble, 20k going missing is just a bit of an interesting one to see that money, I guess, doesn't mean the same to him as trying to get somebody's affection in a sense. I'd like to see a bit more of a development with the Jinshi Mau Mau thing, but I still don't quite see it. I know that it's supposed to get romantic at some point. I'm still not quite seeing how, because Mau Mau really doesn't seem interested in Jinshi. He clearly is interested in her, but I don't quite see any of that going backwards. I know even when she says, is this guy jealous? She thinks it's more because he wants to brag about being hot, not this guy is jealous because I'm looking at another man type situation. I just don't see Mau Mau as being interested in love. I don't see her actually really having an interest. I'm looking forward to seeing how the relationship between them starts to actually blossom and develop into something more than what it is. Because right now, I wouldn't even call them friends. I would say that the relationship between them is quite professional. It's going to be interesting to see how the anime does it, but we have only got 3 episodes left, and I don't think it's really going to be covered in this season. A lot of you guys are hopeful. I've been talking to a few of you about whether we think we're going to get a second season. You seem positive, so I'm going to go with it. I do think as well, It's a show that's done very well, and like a lot of you have said, it's always been in the top 10 every single week. Maybe they will decide that it's worth giving us a sequel. I don't know when that would be and how long we'd have to wait, though. It does seem that Paran isn't being bought out. Link coming back to Larkin is nice, because a lot of us were getting quite disappointed in the comments that we're not actually going to really see Larkin in the rear palace, because we're told that men can't go there. Larkin isn't a eunuch. He has a daughter anyway, but he's in the military, and I'm guessing they don't snip the guys in the military because they're kept separate from the courtesans. People are told not to go there anyway. It does seem like the plot is trying to pull back towards him. I was really worried when we saw that we were going back into the rear palace. I was like, as much as I've missed the concubines, you've built up this big thing with Larkin, and now I really want that face off. I want to understand more about this character, but it doesn't feel like we're really going there. But good luck to our boy Lee Haku. Honestly, I don't think he's going to need much money. I think she actually does like him, and I think that if he does make a play, I think she would basically jump at it, and I really hope that he is able one day to buy her, those two have a happy ending and actually go and, I guess, have a happy ever after and produce lots and lots of tiny Lee Hakus. That would be fantastic. Fingers crossed. Now let's go back to Larkin, the person that we now all really want to see. Initially, I wasn't really keen on the character, but you've got me interested because, again, he's the closest thing I've got right now to a villain. I don't have any information, so I don't know either or way what the dude's actually about. Now, we're told that he's trying to buy somebody out. I still think it is the woman in the bed. I know that she's got syphilis. I think it's her. I'm going to start pulling on the OP because I think the OP's actually given us everything we actually need to know right in front of us, because there is a bit where he is clearly playing shogi and it flips to the woman on bed placing all the shogi pieces, I guess, which would be the play towards whatever he's just played on the board. And I think that obviously there's that connection. I still don't know if it is her mother, because I think she said that it's the person who gave birth to her, but she doesn't see her as a mother. We know Larkin's her dad. And if it is her mum, well, we know that at some point they did the deed. Maybe he is trying to buy her. I don't know, guys. There's something going on here. Larkin really wants to buy her, which is fair. Maybe he has the money also to help her, because if she's really sick, she's gonna need money for medication. Somebody's paying for it, and at the moment it must be the Verdis house. I don't know, maybe it's him. Let's talk about Blue Roses really quickly, because it's the title of next week's episode anyway. I've already said in my breakdown that Blue Roses, he has Blue Roses in the frame with him. Blue Roses are not found naturally in nature. Blue is a very rare colour. Yes, there are some blue flowers out there, forget-me-nots, and you got hydrangeas which go blue. Blue isn't technically a natural occurring colour. Most of the time, especially with roses, it has to be created by science, and a lot of this anime is based around science and medicine, and I want to know why. Why do blue roses keep coming up around you? What does it mean? Are we ever going to get that day when Larkin is sat opposite Mau Mau and we actually get some information? Because it seems like she hates his guts, really hates his guts, to the point that she didn't even want to turn around. She knew who was behind her, but she just didn't want to look. She knew exactly who was trying to make a play for buying somebody at the Verdis house. Closes the letter. She doesn't want to know. I don't know if we're going to get it this season. Which is really irritating, because we've only got 3 episodes and I can't imagine they're going to want to drop too many bombshells now. Unless they are going to do the whole, we're going to leave you on a cliffhanger, sucks to be you. Those are my thoughts on this week's episode. There's a lot going on. I'm very excited. I can't wait to see where we go in the last 3 episodes. I think this show is just amazing. I'm actually gutted that I'm not going to be able to review it on time with you guys for my birthday, just because I'm out doing some stuff. I won't even be in the country to watch it, so I won't even get to watch the anime until Monday, so the day after. Very excited. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys again soon. Bye, guys.